Hey everyone, this is Neil Douglas, American Truth Finders, and this is Sunday night, October 18th. The show is being moved up today, if you saw my posts, from Thursday because of the town hall meetings that former Vice President Biden and President Trump had on Thursday night. So I'm going to try to bring you up to date for those of you that did not see the first two shows. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on that. Thank you, whoever's watching. I appreciate it. And if you would share my show so that we can get a lot of input, because I'm going to tell you, there's more going on right now that we really need to get across to the people. You people need to know what's really happening, and most of you do, I'm sure of that, but I want your opinion, I want your comments, I want you to understand how serious this election is. We have gone through, decades across, for different presidential elections, and I think this is probably has to be the most important election in history, or at least of any presidential election that I'm aware of. For those of you that will be joining me, I hope you're getting this online and or on my Facebook timeline, which I did post it, but I didn't say to go there. And I hope for those of you that will join me can find it. And if not, let me know. Let me know if you're able to watch and able to see what's going on. But I'm going to update you, or bring you up to date, I should say, of some of the things that maybe some of you have missed. Again, thank you for joining me. But I'm just going to briefly go over a few things that we missed or that we talked about on our last show that maybe that you didn't get to see. This is important. And I'm going to break some news to you. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to really talk about what happens in America if Biden and Harris win the candidacy for president and vice president, and the Senate, especially the Senate, is taken over by the Democrats. This is part 3. Part 1 and 2. Part 2 had a tremendous amount of viewers, and I really appreciate it. And I'm hoping that tonight will be the same, because I want your opinions. I need your opinions, and I want you to understand that I'll try not to keep you as long as I did last show, but we're going to quickly go over. This is something that I want you to start thinking about right now, and that's this. I'm just going to recap. I'm not going to go into big details on some of this stuff. The 7 things that the Sanders and Biden unity platform, or their manifesto, it is the Biden-Sanders manifesto. There's 80 pages of it. I'm only going to read just 7 things that I think is 7 things that they want to do. Okay, and that is, first of all, reverse the Paris Peace Agreement. They want to get rid of it. Okay, they want to shift school buses to zero emissions, which is going to cost a tremendous amount of money. I don't know how they plan on doing that, other than the new Green Deal, which AOC is pushing. A freshman representative, in my opinion, she's still a rookie, and yet she's taking over Congress like a bombshell. So somebody put her in there for a reason, and they have helped her for a reason. The other thing we're going to look at is they want to end the cash bail. So if you have a criminal record and you go to jail and you've done something bad, they want to. That means they're going to want to release you without any bail. This is in the Biden-Sanders manifesto that they agreed upon, so that Biden would get the nomination for the president. They want to repeal the right to work laws. You can go into depth on that a little bit more, but I'm not going to go into detail on that. They want to oppose private school vouchers. That was a topic that some of the peoples are really definitely against. Universal health care. They want a one-payer system. And I'm telling you right now, I'm just recapping. So don't, for those of you that are just joining, don't get excited. I'm not repeating myself. I'm just recapping so that you can get involved with the discussion. If they repeal if they have the universal health care, I'm going to tell you right now, people, that means the government will control your health care. You'll not have any choices of anything. They talk about President Trump right now and the changes he wants to make. Well, I want to tell you what, he is not taking away pre-existing conditions. Get that through your head. Do some research. I know that most of you will, but do some research, okay? And of course, they want to take down the border wall. And you know, this is something. We talk about immigration and what has happened. Well, let me tell you why they want to take down the border wall, and that's in the upcoming election. They actually want to make it so that illegal immigrants can vote. They can register and vote. That's serious, because that means it's taking away the rights of American people. And anyway, that was one of the things that I wanted to recap. And I know that a lot of you are, I don't know if you're having a problem finding the show, or if it just came on your, or you just saw it pop up on your message, your notification board. But I'm going to go on, even if I'm talking to myself for a while. But if I don't get too much viewership tonight, I'm not going to bore you, and I'm going to just cover the bases that I think that are very important. And I hope that you'll say hi to me. I hope you'll make a comment, and so that you'll know that I know that you are watching, you're interested, and you really care about what's going on. And again, for those of you who are just joining me, there are people will be coming and going. They always do, and I understand that. But I'm just recapping the fact that the fact that the biggest thing we have to be concerned about right now is, what is the Democrats' move if if Biden and Harris are elected? What is the Democrats' next move? Well, we know what it is. They are going to do everything they possibly can to turn us into a socialist country. And if that happens, I can tell you right now, the rest of the world will be involved and will be affected as well, because they're going to turn us completely backwards by years. Now, I understand that Obama is going to go out and start campaigning for Joe Biden, and that's a great thing, I guess. According to President Trump, he's willing. He'd rather take on Obama than he would Biden anyway. We've got the thing that you want to understand is the progressive party. The Progressive Party of America is not just your Democrat. It is a socialist party, and that is who's pushing the Biden-Harris campaign. Now, for those of you that are watching, I want you to make some comments on anything you want to tonight, because this is, we want to talk about the not just the if Biden and Harris win and the Senate is taken over. That's the most important thing. If the Senate is taken over by the Democrats, and they're definitely going to hold the House, we know that, we've got a problem in America. And I'm telling you right now, and even if Donald Trump is reelected, if the Senate is taken over by the Democrats, they're going to control everything. He won't be able to make any moves unless they're in executive orders, how many of those will stand up? Anyway, last week we did cover a lot about the family, the Working Family Party. And if you're not familiar with that, I'll bring you up to date, and then we're going to get into this week's order of things. The Working Family Party is supporting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Now, if you've never heard of the Working Family Party, I want you to think about it and look them up. There's a social movement, and by them, they have been infiltrated by the Communist Party. You can research it, you can do it, you can go to their website, you can see who they're supporting. They have been infiltrated by the Communist Party. They are supporting Biden and Harris. Now, for those of you that may or may not believe that, you have to do your own research. I don't want you to take my word for it. Please do your own research. Some of you out there, I wish somebody would say hi to me, so I know that somebody is watching. And the Working Families Party their goal is to make Trump a one-term president. All right, we already covered that last week, so you can always go back and look at that part of the show that we did last week. And with the Communist Party infiltration, that started back with the Working Family Party. Deborah, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you saying hello. And I don't want to bore anybody tonight, so if you have any comments, please just make them free. I doubt that tonight's going to be a big audience, only because they think possibly maybe we're repeating a lot of things. What we're doing is continuing it, because there's more things that have come up, including I definitely want to get into Joanne Olson. Hi, I'm glad you could make it. Thanks so much. I really, you guys are great for the support. And I do know that people come and go, and I know that it's a Sunday night, and I know that it's one of those situations where not everybody's interested in what we've already talked about. And all I did was at the beginning of the show was kind of recap what we have talked about. But now here's where we're going to get into some talking. And I want you to please do some research and get some stuff posted all over Facebook or wherever it might be that you do. I'm going to tell you something. AOC, Alexandria Cortez, and her friends, and we know who they are, the squad. Doris, how are you? Thanks for joining me. My goodness, I appreciate it. I'll tell you what, you lost track of time. Well, that's all right. I think I started off a little late anyway. But let me tell you something. Representative Alexandra Ocasio, excuse me, I'll get it out. Cortez and her team of socialist descendants are literally and already hard at work applying pressure to get demands. Now, get ready for this. Get demands for the Biden transition team even though Biden hasn't even won the election yet, and that the polls are very much up in the air. Here, look. Oh, when I said AOC is just a freshman type of representative, she is really making headlines. She's taking over the Congress, and I'm telling you what, she's taking people with her. The squad, they hate America. They want to turn us into socialists, and they are already making demands that of what they are going to do to pull Joe Biden into that left, progressive corner. And I'm going to tell you something. If Biden and Harris win, because Harris is part of the Progressive Family Party, a working party, she is being backed by the Communist Party of America. And we already discussed this. What I'm telling you is not I mean, by doing your own research, you already know. Joe Biden was put in as a token. He's not. He's only there as a Trojan horse, and he is going to be replaced by Kamala Harris. I think that's well known. Joe Biden is not ready to be president. He doesn't even. I'm not even sure that he knows what they're doing, and it's kind of in a situation. If is that he is being used. He's being used. I mean, I'm surprised his wife is even allowing him to do it, but I guess it's notoriety at this point. But we will be getting into the the Biden situation with Hunter Biden, because I'm going to tell you something. That's serious. That's some serious business, and it needs to be investigated. And I don't know if that's the October surprise or what it is, because let me tell you something. It's there's something going on, and we've got less than 2 weeks before the election. More people are already voting now than ever in history, and I'm going to show you what it is. As far I say ever in history, in our recent histories anyway. Let's see. Deborah says Joe thinks he is running for the Senate. I know, and you know something. The way you said that, he will be surprised. But the problem is, I'm not so sure he's not thinking. If his I hate to be sounding so like against somebody, but it sounds almost like he's got a mental issue, like a beginning of Alzheimer's or whatever. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And I'm sure none of you would either. You're decent human beings that love people, but yet you have your opinions about where you want America to go, and I totally can go along with that. Lori, good evening. Hey, I'm glad you could join us. Anyway, I'm getting back to what I was talking about. AOC is already making demands on the Biden transition team weeks before the presidential election. So AOC, do they know something we don't know with all this mail-in or these mail ballots or whatever's going on? Do they actually think this is going to put Biden and Harris into the office of presidency, and the Senate goes over to the Democrats? I'm going to tell you, the only way I see it is if that's the case, then we all know that it's going to be a rigged election. But I have to tell you, something's going on, because I've watched both candidates, President Trump and Biden, and I've watched their rallies, and there is no doubt in my mind Biden is speaking to a blank audience. You don't see his audience, or what's audience you do see is just a handful. With Trump, he's got thousands of people, for crying out loud. So I mean, this is something happened. Lori says, see, saw where Biden is facing dementia, doesn't get prosecuted. Oh, if is faking, is that what that says? I saw where Biden is faking dementia so that he doesn't get rid. I've not seen that, Lori, but that's an interesting thought. That is an interesting thought. Anyway, so the progressives, they're hard at work. They're going to essentially do the deals. They're going to make the deals. They're going to make the deals before Biden's even elected. Now, where in the heck is that coming from? Deborah says, do you know that about Biden's dissension? I got that. I'm going to have to do something, figure something out about that, because the wording does go right into the screen. Do you know that Biden's transition team have let me see, former, okay, and wait a minute, and mean every certainty former employees at okay. You're talking about Twitter and Facebook that the transition team have former and yes, I do know what you mean there. I have heard that, and I'm going to tell you something. That's kind of a little bit different from Twitter and Facebook. YouTube now is taking down thousands. YouTube is now taking down thousands of videos that people are putting up that are supporting apparently America and whatever. The bottom line is it's all of the social medias are in this together to get rid of Donald Trump. They are all in it. The news, CNN got rid of Ice Cube because he's a Trump supporter. Because he was on Ice Cube. I don't know as a commentator or maybe a contributor or whatever the case might be. Doris Roberts says that the Supreme Court. Let's see. The Supreme Court here is much more divided. Let's see that they will call ballots all right. We're going to talk about the Supreme Court. You're talking about the ballots on November 3rd, the election. Well, as we know that the election will not be decided November 3rd, but it will end up going to the Supreme Court. Nancy Pelosi suddenly, I don't know what's going on with her. She suddenly says she's going to give them 48 hours to make a deal on the stimulus package before the election, when she's been the one that's been holding things back because of putting in all the pork that she wants to put in about the climate control and what have you. I mean, that's all been part of it. I'm not going to read much more of this AOC, but she is. Wait a minute. See, Doris says that's okay. That's okay because Ted Cruz has a lawsuit against them. Something else. Ted Cruz, I have to tell you, he was not one of Trump's favorite people at the beginning, and neither was, I'll think of it in a minute anyway, because he's had a few of Republicans who were not against it. But Ted Cruz has been one of Trump's biggest backers, and he is supporting the Constitution. And the Democrats, as we talked in the last show, they want to pack the Supreme Court, and they think that by approving of Amy Coney Barrett for Supreme Court justice, they are saying that's packing the court. That's not packing the court. That's replacing somebody who has. If that's the case, the court was already packed with 9. So now it's 8 and 8. Or it's 4 and 4, total of 8. So they approve of a Supreme Court justice to take Ruth Bader Ginsburg's place. That's the Constitution says. The Constitution says that's what we're supposed to do. Let me see. Now Joanne says on the Hunter Biden's former business partners has given. Let's see. Peter Schweitzer 20. Oh, you're talking about the emails. Was it 20,000, 26,000 emails? And that the deals and the messages are Hunter Biden's messages online. I'm kind of reading fast because I'm trying to make sure I get it all in. I apologize, Joanne. I'm not by any means trying to not get everything you said, but I can't highlight anything. And it does blend in. It's so light. I wish I should take a screenshot so you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so let's go on here. Because she says, because of the Hunter business dealings, and it's getting interesting. And sorry, I changed subject. No, don't be sorry you changed the subject. This is what this show's about. Because I'm going to tell you, This makes, I have to tell you, oh, let me say real quick what Doris has to say. Amy Barrett is a smart cookie. Oh, let me tell you, without a doubt, she's smart. I love the fact that when they ask her what is she using for her notes, and she holds up a blank paper with I think the Congress or Senate or something was on it. Everything came from her mind. You can't take that away from her. And the Democrats, especially that Honolulu, whatever her name is, when she tried to pin her down to sexual comments, that almost turned my stomach. I mean, it really did, because I mean, you know, why? What did that have to do with, you know? Has she ever tried to do a sexual advances towards who? And has she ever, you know, been involved with sexual kind of things? That, you know, the Honolulu, whatever her name is, that's what I call her anyway. You know, she's done this in the past. This is not her first go around as far as that kind of questioning. She did it, I think, with our last nominee for the Supreme Court. Anyway, Amy Barrett, I have to tell you, I don't know her. I don't know anything about her other than what I saw, the same thing you saw during the hearings. I can tell you that her and her husband does have is part of a law practice in South Bend, and which he will no doubt be leaving. And Amy will be leaving and going to Washington once she is approved. And she will be approved. There's no doubt in my mind she'll be approved. And whether or not she is, and you know that once this election is done, if it has to be contested, if she's going to go by the law. She's not going to go by anything but the law, just like I would hope Judge Roberts would do, because Judge Roberts on the health care bill absolutely shocked everybody. They thought that they would overturn Obamacare. Well, it didn't. Roberts followed the law the way he saw it. So that's the thing that I'm trying to get at in that situation is Amy Barrett is not going to go with her political beliefs. So for those of you that for those of you that might think otherwise, you know that that's not the way it is. Douglas Ferriston goes, how are you? Hey, I'm glad you could bring it, or you could be on. Let's see, what'd you say? Glad to join. Well, I'm glad you did join. I appreciate that. We've been covering a lot of things. Now, I have to tell you, the on this idea that of AOC and her group putting demands on Biden already on the transition weeks before the presidential election. That's not just demands on Biden. It's the transition team of Biden's own transition team. In other words, the AOC group, which includes, I mean, secretly is including, and I'm using this as my own words. Harris is secretly part of that, because Harris is being supported by the Working Party, Working Family Party, which is a communist-backed party. That tells me that she's in on this. As far as I'm concerned, that's just my word, my opinion. So for all the Facebook police, don't get excited, don't get yourself in an uproar, because that's just my opinion. But you do your own research. Joanne Olson says, Wisconsin governor wants ballots counted for a week, or is that okay, after the election. I read that. I did read that. And that let's see, let me go on here. Let me see. And the appellate court and now says no. Wait a minute. Let me see. The appellate court said no. Okay, so Governor Evers is taking it to the Supreme Court. Okay, and has already stopped North Carolina from doing the same thing? Okay, yeah, that's what you're saying to me. Eric Holder is there in the is in the Wisconsin is part of that Wisconsin Park lot. I'm kind of paraphrasing what you just said because I'm of the way I see the wording. You know something, Joanne, I want to tell you, it's not just Eric Holder at that point. You know that Eric Holder will be part of the administration for Biden. That's already been discussed. I haven't discussed it, but it's just come out. So your point about Wisconsin and North Carolina, well, that's just like President Trump wanted the ballot boxes to be moved in these states where they were not allowing them to be at, where people would have to drive for miles upon miles in order to vote or to drop them off. I guess he won that case in those states, so that's the ballot boxes will be placed where they should be placed. Doris Roberts says Amy's going to follow the Constitution. Absolutely, Doris. I think if you obviously, Doris and Joanne and I don't know, Douglas, if you got a chance to watch it or if Lori got to watch it. But anyway, I just want to say, I'm sure you watched the hearings, and watching her give her comments, give her statements was absolutely fantastic. I was just so amazed the intelligence of this woman. And I have to tell you, she's almost like she's got a photographic memory. That's the way I was able to get it. That's the way I was able to understand it or see it. When no matter who questioned her, she came back with an answer like it was. She knew what law it was, what bill, what case it was that went before the Supreme Court. I'm telling you right now, even though she lives maybe 2 miles from where I live, I've never seen her. If I have, I wouldn't have known it. She's apparently an ordinary mom when it comes to her children, and even being the type of mom that does what is it called, carpooling. She has before the virus, I'm sure she had parties at her house for her children's friends and so on and so forth. I think she's obviously a wonderful mother, but she's also a great professor, and she'll make a great Supreme Court justice, and she'll be honest. And that's what I don't get about the Democrats wanting to tear her apart. But I did notice one thing: the Democrats weren't as hard on her as they were on our last nominee. Doris says, which policies? I'm trying to see. I'm trying to make that out because all of a sudden I was looking at the camera and I went all the. Let me read that. See, Dora says which politics all the time is on now. I'm not sure I made that out right, Doris, and I'm so sorry. Oh, you watch? Wait a minute. You watch politics all the time now. Finally, duh. I finally figured it out. You know something? That's good because I think we have to be up on this because this election, I'm telling you right now, people, we can't take it for granted. If you want a socialist country, then don't bother voting. Don't bother when people are standing in line for hours to vote early. That should tell you something. I'm very serious about that. I mean, I've seen the lines of people in small towns even that. So this people are voting early because they want to make sure they get their vote in. They want it counted. Joanne says that Eric Holder is one of Biden's let's see, team of 600 attorneys, who plan to contest the election. You know, I knew he was part of of something, but he's going to be something in his cabinet as well, Joanne. That's been apparently, from what I've seen and heard, that's already been decided. And Deborah says, let's see, CB are the Democrats. Okay. Look a little bit, watch us where they truly are. Let me see here, and I gotta reread that because I want to make sure I get that right, Deborah. It looks like CB made the Democrats to look like he watches. Only they are. Oh, wait a minute. Are you saying that never mind. Amy Barrett, I got it. I didn't see the A. It was over too far to the left on my screen here. Okay, yeah, Amy, she made the Democrats look like witches that they truly are. I hope that was what you said was witches, because that's what I said. Anyway, you're right. Amy Barrett did an amazing job. And I don't care if a person is a Democrat or Republican. If you deny that, there's something that you're missing, because she, like I said, whatever they asked her, I don't care what, and no matter how hard, and you put people like Cory Booker, for crying out loud. He deliberately tried to make her look bad, just in his own questioning. Well, I got to tell you something. He failed. They try to smile and say, we respect you, blah, 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 whatever. But let's ask you this nasty question. And they all, if you know about it, if you think about this, people, it was not about Amy Barrett's approval for the Supreme Court as much as it was a campaign speeches by all the Democrats for Joe Biden against Donald Trump. If you listened to their comments, it was Joe Biden's campaign. They were campaigning against Donald Trump. This was all about Donald Trump. This was not about Amy Barrett. Oh, yes, they asked their proper questions, but did you notice President Trump has failed on the COVID virus? He failed us on the economy. He failed us here, and he failed us there, and he failed us someplace else. So my point being is the Democrats had made this their platform in actually responding or commenting to Amy Barrett. And so this is something that if you really watch the debates, and most of you did, I can tell, if not all of you, you know that she did a fantastic job. I was wanting to bring her up about the Supreme Court justice, because she's going to be nominated before the election. Is that fair or unfair? Well, I got to tell you, it's part of the Constitution, so I guess you'd have to say it's fair. It's not loading the Supreme Court like the Democrats are threatening to do if they get into office, or if they get the Senate, and even if President Trump is reelected. If the Democrats take over the Senate, they're going to load up the Supreme Court. There's not a thing the president can do about that. So you better hope that you and your friends and everybody go out and vote, hopefully. And I guess you can tell where I'm coming from at this point. I do not want a socialist country. I do not want I don't want I don't want I don't want government health care. I don't want them to be taxing people. And Biden is lying through his teeth when he says that he's going to raise your taxes. And there's all kinds of places you can find that out for yourself, that Biden is not telling you the truth. He's lying. And because he's going to raise your taxes like you wouldn't believe. And he's going to take your taxes. And if we become a socialist country, well, you don't have any money anyway, so it won't matter. That's for darn sure. I'm not going to read this because I read this last time. This is about how the Association for Mature American Citizens website, that's the Democrats are now communists, allow communists to infiltrate their party across the nation. I told you that last time, and I think you already know it. So I'm not repeating that. So that I just wanted to really cover basically what we discussed last week. And the comments that I'm getting so far are definitely leading up to what we had really planned on talking about. And that was I would like to get into a couple of things if we can tonight. Keith Coons, hey, hi back to you, Keith. I'm glad you could make it. I like it when I get a lot more people coming in and just telling me hi. I love it. Doris says, because the Constitution says that the president shall, let me see here. Wait a minute. The president shall choose another judge. Well, yeah, that's why we have this opening that allows the president now. But that gives us a Supreme Court, and our forefathers could see the future. That we needed an uneven number so that one person would be most likely one person, not in all cases, because sometimes it's 5-3 or 5-4 or it's 6-3. But the point is if there's a 4-4 tie, that one vote can make the difference, whether or not, for instance, we keep the health care of Obama, or whether or not the election goes to Biden or it goes to Trump, if it comes down to that, which I think it's going to. I'm telling you right now, when I saw that President Trump was in Muskegon, Michigan yesterday, and then he went to Janesville, Wisconsin, and Janesville is about as, correct me if I'm wrong. I think, Joanne, you're from, Wisconsin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Janesville is a Democratic community. But from what I have understood or what I've seen, but let me tell you something. The crowds that Trump is getting is just outrageous. I can't believe it that in Janesville, he drew the crowd that he drew. He was in Ocala, Florida. And this was another situation where there were so many people at that rally. I wondered how in the heck they all got there. I mean, where did they park that plane at? Because I don't even know. I've been in Ocala. I don't even know if Ocala has an airport. I know they have one right near Orlando, but I don't know about the other ones. And welcome to those of you that have joined me and joined the show. Not just me, because I'm just the loudmouth. It's your show. It's your comments. So anyway, Joanne Olson says that communists were in the Democratic Party in 46? I believe it does. Well, it goes back a long ways, but the problem is, Joanne, nobody has talked about it. People do not talk about it. So that's another thing that we have to let people know. Democrat friends do not even want to hear you. They don't even want to listen to what you've got to say. They want to buy into what they're being sold by CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, whatever the case might be. My point is, they need to look at realistic things. They need to do research, do things we haven't got much time. There is not much time to save this country. If we're going to save it, this election will do it. If we're not going to save it, this election is going to do it. So either way, we have to do something. We have to tell our friends. We have to help our friends. We have to go out and make sure. There has been more Republican people going out and getting people to register than I think ever before, as far as the Republican Party, because the Democrats usually do that. But anyway, Doris says, I've learned a lot at the attorney at here in Michigan. Oh, from the are you referring to, I'm going to go back to Michigan for a minute on that. You've learned a lot from the attorney and in the Michigan. Okay. And in Michigan, I understand what you're saying now, Doris. The Michigan governor, Whitmer, I guess she's accusing President Trump of inciting terrorism. And I'd like to know how he is doing that. What? Because he says that she was not a good governor, or that he didn't think she was a good governor. He didn't start any riots in Michigan. He didn't go there and start riots in Michigan. Governor Whitmer, I have to tell you, whatever happens to her in Michigan, she did it upon herself. The way she came down on Michigan, I mean, it was such national news, it was unreal. So I'm just telling you the way I see it. That Governor Whitmer, if when she's up for re-election, I'm going to tell you something right now. If she gets reelected, then Michigan needs to suffer. I'm sorry, Doris, because you live in Michigan. You're allowed to move anyplace else, okay? But my point is really, it's just like term limits. People keep voting these people in and in and in over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's one of the things that Donald Trump wants to do, is to get rid of term limits. If he can get the Senate and the House to go along with that somehow or another, which I don't know they ever will, because they love that $11,000. The Senate, they get $11,000 a month, whether you get a nickel or not. So they don't really care about the stimulus package. I'm sorry, I started ranting off on the different subjects. So, and you guys can do the same thing. You can post anything. Joanne says Janesville is a split. Oh, it is a split. That's Paul Ryan. Yeah, that's his hometown. Okay, that's right. I do remember that. And although he is a rhino, yes, he is a rhino, I will admit. I have to go along with that. Joe Biden voted, Joe Biden visited Governor Whitmer this morning. I did not hear that. I didn't see the news. I got to be honest with you. I wasn't feeling well this morning, so I did not watch the news. That he's ready to, and said that he would pick a woman of color. Now, is he referring to, hang on, let me make sure it gets right. Joe Biden visited Governor Whitmer as a running mate. Oh, yes, I do remember that. He did. When he said, and he had already said that he would pick a woman of color. Let me tell you something. The fact that he picked Harris, and this is just my opinion, okay? So you can do not have to buy into this. I do not think Joe Biden himself picked Harris. I believe if he was told she will be your running mate by the Democrat Party and the other Democrats that are controlling Joe Biden, because as I said, Joe Biden will not last out his presidency of 4 years. He's what, 77, 78 now. He'll be 81 to 82 years old, so he would not get reelected. He would not run again, number one. Number two, he will be lucky if he makes it 6 months to a year, before they replace him, because it's already in the plans to make sure that Kamala Harris, however you want to say her first name, she will be your president. And I'm telling you, as progressive as she is, you better pray and hope that Donald Trump gets reelected, because she is the most progressive left-wing senator that we have in the Senate. She is so far left that she is right along there with AOC. She's further left than Bernie Sanders. She's a woman, and I'm not picking on her because she's a woman. I'm telling you, I'm picking on her because of her politics and where she wants to take this country, and she wants to help destroy it so it becomes a socialist country, so that everything, we have to depend on the government for everything. And I can tell you right now, I don't want any part of that. You'll lose your guns, you'll lose your freedom of speech, which we're already losing that stuff. You'll lose your freedom of religion. You will lose so much, it's unreal. And I'm sorry that if I'm yelling or if I'm getting out of control here, settle me down, somebody. Okay. Anyway, let's see. The Attorney General needs to go. Okay. Also, the Secretary of State. Michigan's in a tough situation. Michigan could be a deciding factor, one of the deciding factors of Trump winning. If Michigan wins, if Michigan votes Trump and votes red this year, I think it's only the second time that a president has done that, and I think Ronald Reagan was the other one. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Joanne Olson said Obama has started. Let me see here. Obama wanted to raise his. I've got to get my eyes cleared up here again so I can try to get through this. So popular that he couldn't make it to the Iowa caucuses. Okay, all right. Obama vetted Harris. Okay, but she was so unpopular, or he was so unpopular. She couldn't even make it to the Iowa caucus. I think I read that right, Joanne. I'm sorry again. I'd love to take a screenshot so you know why I'm fighting this. And the reason I'm using this particular program is because I can bring on several guests. Like if you wanted to be a guest, if you wanted to be a part of my show and you had a video camera and a microphone or something, I could just click it on and invite you. That's what's so nice about this program versus Facebook. I can only get one person. I can get as many as 6 people and on at the same time, and we could all be doing a video conferencing, which would be very interesting. Now, Dora said you just got back from Mackinac, where there are more Trump signs than Biden. You know something? I have to tell you something, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I've not seen that many signs for anybody where I'm at. In the area of Indiana where I'm at, I have not hardly seen any signs for either party. I've seen some remove Trump or remove one of the representatives, but I've not seen any Biden and Harris signs. There might be 1 or 2, but there's so few. But I'm going to go back to what Joanne said. Joanne vetted Harris, but she was unpopular so she couldn't even make it to the Iowa caucus. Okay, now I got what you said. I apologize that I did not read it properly the first time, but it's hard to focus when I'm looking at the screen to make sure that I'm not being rude to you people who are kind enough to stay with me and watch. Let's talk about this for just a second. If you were president, and I just want a yes or no, if you feel up to doing this, if you were president and you had to make a decision of replacing somebody on the Supreme Court because one of the Supreme Court justices passed away, would you feel that it was your obligation to, whether it be in an election year, within a week or so before the election, how would you nominate somebody to take that justice's place? And I'm only, you don't have to answer that, but if you want to, I would appreciate it, because here's the way I look at it. It's going to be a very tight race. I don't think that we are going to know the winner. I've told you that in the past. I don't think we'll know the winner the night of the election. I'm not even sure we'll know a week from that night. And if we don't know by January 20th, you know what happens. I've told you 100 times. Nancy Pelosi will be your president, at least acting president, until the Supreme Court makes its decision. Deborah Stacy says, let's see here. You need to drive over to Portage. You know something? I tell you what. I take it you got some signs there. We have a huge Trump sign that goes over the place. Okay. Let me see if I got that right. You won't see it in Lake County, but you'll see it in Porter County. Okay, that's something that's interesting because you're so close to the Chicago area, closer to Chicago than I am, of course, Deborah. But so where you're at in Portage. By the way, I got to tell you this: people overlook me for just being a little bit of what is it? This is off the cuff. This is totally off the topic. Speaking of Portage, I got to tell you, when I said that I bought my music equipment in Portage, Deborah, it was at a place called Rubino's Music, and I don't know if they're still there or not. But I tell you what a great place it was to go, not only to get treated, and the people there were great. The owner was great, and I still have the equipment that I bought from Rubino's Music in Portage, Indiana. Okay, now I've said that. That had nothing to do with the show, but I had to make that comment because if you know anybody's into music and Rubino's is still open, I don't even know if they are. It's been so many years. But anyway, as you said, you've got Lake County and you've got Porter County right near you, or next door to you, basically, or part of it. So you've got a Democrat and you've got a Republican Party. But see, you're close to Chicago too, so you're going to have a lot of Democrats in Chicago area or closer to Chicago. I suppose the closer you get to like Lake Station or any of those places. Now, let me move on. I've got to move on. Joanne, I don't want to miss out on anybody's comments. Joanne says, yes, that's a president's job. The Constitution. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up again because see that, Joanne, that's the whole thing right there. President Trump is following the Constitution. He wants to follow the Constitution. And when he says he wants a fair election, he's referring to one that fair to the Constitution, that he wants it to be fair. He doesn't, he was asked the other night, and we're going to go into this little bit about the debate, if that's okay, if we've got some time, if you'll stick with me. But anyway, as you said, it is that proper for the president to, because he's the Constitution is it's up to the Senate to decide whether they will confirm her or not. And you're absolutely correct. It's his job to nominate, and it's the Senate's job to confirm her. You're absolutely right, and I'm glad you brought it up that way because I've been saying that, but I'm not sure I've really hit home hard enough. And that's why right now we have a Senate that I think's going to nominate her. I don't think there's going to be any issue with that. Lindsey Graham, that's the other one from South Carolina, North Carolina, wherever he's from. His position is in jeopardy as far as the Senate. He does, Lindsey may not be one of everybody's favorite senators, but he has supported the president along with Ted Cruz. And I'm impressed the fact because at first they didn't even like him. They didn't want to support him about anything. But for some reason or another, he must be doing something right. And he must be looking at people who are good for advice as advisors, he's probably talking to a lot of these senators and saying, look, what's on your mind? How should I handle this situation? And I think they respect him for that, because I do believe with all my heart, I do not believe President Trump is making these decisions all by himself, because let me tell you something, he's got constitutional lawyers. He does discuss these things with the senators and congressmen, the representatives, and on both sides. I know that he's done that. And yet the Republicans or the Democrats hate him so much, and even some Republicans hate him so much, that they just as soon see him out of office. I'm going to tell you, it's because he's not a politician. He's not a politician. Okay, let me move on. I'm sorry. Deborah says, I would like a nomination to make sure that the Senate completes the job. The president played is elected for 4 years, like it, or less, and not less. That's right. That's something, Deborah. What you just said. The fact that the president is elected for 4-year terms, and you have a Senate that makes the decision when it comes to, like, the Supreme Court with Amy Barrett, for example. And the Democrats are saying, okay, we get in office, or if we get the Senate, we're packing the Supreme Court. And they have admitted they're going to do it. They have threatened they're going to do it. And they are determined they're going to do it. And Nancy Pelosi says, she's already said, if Trump is reelected, she's going back in to try to get him impeached. Impeached on what? Because he's following the Constitution, because he's the president of the United States, and because he's not a politician, a lifetimer like she is. I mean, crying out loud, the woman has. I don't understand San Francisco. Her own area people are leaving. People are moving out. Areas have become slum. Her own district. People, I'm telling you, why they keep voting her in is beyond me. And the same goes for anybody else, whether they're a Republican or a Democrat. If they've been in for X amount of years, get them out. Get some fresh blood in there that knows what's going on. We look at the high-tech companies right now, all of them, including Facebook, including Twitter, including LinkedIn, and then your media. Everybody is become where our freedom of speech is being taken away. If you say something that's out of place, according to them, or if you say something that they say is false information, and they use somebody like maybe Snopes or whatever to determine what's right and what's not right. And I can tell you right now, Snopes is owned by a husband and wife team, or at least they were, unless they got bought out. They were bought out. They're liberal, and so I'm not saying that they are totally wrong on everything, or they totally go against somebody that's conservative, or whatever the case might be. But what I'm saying is, Snopes to me is not definitely the best place to get your right or wrong answer, or whether it's false or not. And if I'm wrong about them being liberal, then I apologize. But that's what I have read about them on a couple, 2 or 3 years ago. But they may have sold out, so I don't know. I keep rambling. I got to quit that. All right, now already nearly 21 million Americans have already cast ballots in the 2020 election. Think about that. That's a record-shattering avalanche of early votes amid the pandemic. That the 2018 million, the 18 million ballots submitted as of Friday afternoon. 20.8 million. I said 28. I meant 20.8 million ballots were cast as of Friday afternoon. That represents 15% of all votes cast in 2016. So people are voting early, and they're voting early because they want to get out. They want to get their vote counted. They don't want these ballots that are being lost or being like, for instance, here I'm going to tell you here, and I'm sorry I have to read this, but as you all know, this is the way I do my show. Democrats right now are outvoting Republicans 2-1 in the 42 states, according to the Associated Press count. But both parties anticipate a swell of Republican votes on Election Day. So the early voters, are they all Democrats, and then most of the Democrats going to stay home on Election Day because of the virus? I mean, is the virus going to scare anybody from going out and actually voting in person? Is what I'm asking you now. They said that the both parties, as I said, yes, I already read that. In a matter of hours, dramatically shift the dynamic, and that's on Election Day, just in a matter of hours. They said that this article goes on to say that the voting has occurred without any of the violent things taking place, and that some of the activists on law enforcement officials had feared. The law enforcement is worried about the early voting and the violence. And it has featured stages of errors, 100,000 faulty mail ballots sent out in New York, 50,000 in Columbus, Ohio, which is not too far from this area where I'm at, maybe 4 hours, and a vendor supplying that the state and Pennsylvania blaming delays in sending ballots, overwhelming demand. There's also have been extraordinary lines, but few signs of mass disruption. Well, the disruption is good. That we don't have it. We don't want that. That's not what this is all about. This is about electing a president and a vice president. Let's see. Doris says, let me make sure that I didn't miss what Deborah said here. Okay, I think I didn't read this, Doris. Or Deborah, excuse me. Okay, I got the 4 years, all right. Deborah says, that it's all politics, local. That's how Pelosi stays in office. And yeah, you're right. You nailed it there. I know that. It's just why? Why do people want to keep somebody in office that doesn't help them a bit? She lives in $1 million homes, and her area, granted, people that live in San Francisco have to pay $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 a month for an apartment, maybe, but or even a condo, and they can't even sell them. If they live in a condo, they can't sell them. They can't. Nobody's wanting them. Nobody's buying them. And yet she'll still get probably get reelected if she runs again. Another 2 years or 3 years? I don't even know how long she's got left. So she brings home the she brings home the bacon. Yeah, you're right. In her district, you're absolutely right. She does. I like the way you put that. Doris Roberts says, I heard Trump say that he gave that. He told Florida that it was not that he was not a politician. He did. When he was in Ocala, he said he's not a politician. I watched that Ocala, and then I watched Muskegon, and I watched Janesville, and I have to tell you, the man's got so much energy. I don't I just don't know. I don't know where he gets it. I couldn't keep up with him no matter what. And I don't know, maybe some of the rest of you could, but I couldn't. I think he gets maybe, 4 hours sleep a night? Wow. Now, I want to tell you something. Do you want to keep talking about this, or you want to go on to a little other topic about Joe Biden's son and what's going on, and why is this going to affect Biden's election? I'm going to, or not getting elected, either way. I'm going to tell you, the press is not playing this up. The press is not reporting it. The press does not want you to know the underhanded dealings that's going on with that Biden family. And Ron Johnson, Senator Ron Johnson, is calling for the FBI Director, Christopher Wray, to confirm or deny details regarding a laptop and to have belong to the and to have belonged to Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. I'm going to tell you right now, that has to be brought open. I don't know if that's the October surprise. I really don't. Let me go on here. Let me read what Deborah has to say. Pelosi is up for re-election on November 3rd. She's a representative. I didn't think the representatives were up for re-election. I could be wrong, because they said they'd already hold the House. You may be right, but I didn't think they were at the same year, Deborah. But you could very well be right, and I apologize. I'm not calling you on that. I mean, I'm not questioning you. I just didn't think that because she's not even campaigning as far as I know. But there again, I could be wrong. Let me see now. Now that you mentioned Jackie Walorski in this area, I think she is a representative, and I think she's up for re-election, but I don't hear much about her. I haven't seen any ads. I haven't seen any ads for any representatives. So I really don't know, Deborah, but if Pelosi's up for re-election in November 3rd, you know she's going to get re-elected. That's just automatic. But anyway, getting back to this Hunter Biden thing, I'm not going to read everything, because most of you probably already seen on, if you, depending on where you what news you watch or what you read or whatever online, you already know that he was paid how many millions of dollars by making a deal. He was put on the payroll, and his dad was heard on voice, on tape. I've got it here someplace. I hope I can find it. Well, let me see. I'll find it here in a minute. But anyway, let me read what Joanne has to say. Representatives are voted every 2 years, and senators. I thought senators were 2 years, and they representatives were like 4 or 6 years. Or is it the other way around? Anyway, I'm not going to argue with that point, because for some reason or other, representatives surveyed. Well, there we go. Deborah, you just confirmed what Joanne said. So I apologize. I am absolutely, totally wrong, because Deborah just said that representatives are 2-year terms and up for election every even year. Is that what that is? So this is a even year. So if the representatives, let me see, senators are 6 years. Okay, sorry about that, and they're staggered. Thank you for that, Deborah, because I knew that because Senator, the thing that concerned me more than anything is we know that the Democrats are going to hold the House. What concerns me is the Senate losing to the Democrats. That is such an important part of our Congress that we can't afford to lose. If we lose it, the country is going to become socialist. And I don't know that many of you want to live as a socialist country. I know I don't. I don't want the government. The government tells me too much for what to do anyway. The government, I mean, when they tell you now that they're going to load the Supreme Court, they're going to take away your gun rights, and Harris said that. She has said, we'll get rid of your guns. We're taking your guns. And she's not referring to just AK-47s or whatever. She's talking about guns, that it will happen where we will be no different than any other communist country, where they will come to your house and you will give up your arms, because they have record of who owns gun and who doesn't, unless it's a shotgun, which you don't have to register, but yet they still want you to. And some people that do it, I keep telling them, don't register your shotgun if you got one, because they'll come and get it. A handgun's a different story. You have to register that, and that's okay, because some people carry, and we have the right to carry. And for those that don't have the right to carry, that the states that they're in, it's to me, that's your Second Amendment right. But we won't go into that. I'd like to find out what are your thoughts are about the Biden situation with his son Hunter, because there was a tape that was made, and it's been on TV. I can't give it to you word for word or whatever the case might be, but I'm going to tell you something. Joe Biden, made some comment about how we're not giving you the $1 billion or whatever that was, and unless you fire so and so and son of a gun, they fired him. But the Biden campaign says that they're all done to refute or deny or any of this, or to say that the meeting of one of these emails revealed that Vice President Biden had with the number 3 control of Burisma never showed up on his official calendar. Well, of course, it's not going to show up on his official calendar if it's something that turned out to be kind of nasty. You know what I'm saying? In other words, if it turned out to be something that was not planned for the public to see or to be part of it, they're not going to put that on his. They're not going to put that on his official calendar. I mean, look at Hillary. The emails, half of them, how many were on her personal hard drive? That's another issue that's going to take place. That if Trump is still in office, that this whole thing's going to be investigated to the point where it's going to. And Barr, I'm going to tell you right now, Barr better do his job, because if he doesn't, I think Trump will get rid of him. Barr better investigate this and investigate it deep, because I'm going to tell you something. There's a whole bunch of people, and I understand if I could be wrong. You can quote me. I mean, don't quote me. You can comment and tell me what you think. But I think this goes into Biden or to Obama even. I think you're going to find that Obama is tied into this as well. And I think that if that's the case, anybody that was tied in with this Hunter Biden situation, and how the people can't see that the vice president was involved with it, and the president obviously had to be involved with it. I don't think that the vice president would do anything like hiding something behind the president's back without the president knowing it somehow or another. Things like this just don't happen. Things like this just don't take place. Anyway, that was the Biden situation that I was going to discuss. Here's an interesting thing I want you to think about. Tell me what you think. The Trump campaign says new ads are a test of charts. And I'll read that as soon as I read. I won't read this whole article. I don't read all the entire articles because they're too long and you know they get too boring. Okay, Doris Roberts says they do not need to investigate and to be. They need then. Okay, I'm sorry. They do need to be investigated and found guilty and be held and put in prison. Well, I think it's almost like if they accuse President Trump of treason, which the Democrats have done, would this be considered, some form of treason? I can't answer that because, I don't know that there was anything sinister that was going on as far as the security of our country. But I could be wrong about that. Anyway, what I was going to tell you is that the 2020 elections isn't just a battle between senior citizens, it's a battle for senior citizens, and the Trump campaign is trying to get back on top after what analysts say is a stunning drop in support. So, in other words, the senior citizens are not supporting Trump. So people that are, I guess now that you can become a senior citizen at 50, well, that's kind of young as far as I'm concerned. But what about the senior citizens that might be in their 60s, 70s, or even 80s? Yesterday, he had one person who I think served in the military that was 100 years old at his rally, and I think that was either in Ocala or Muskegon, and then there was another one at the same rally that was 105 years old. So they're apparently Trump supporters, or they wouldn't be there. But for them to say that the campaign is losing the senior citizens, that could be concerning because your senior citizens have become the majority of the population, or so close to it that it's unreal. So that's something to think about. And another thing is that the Trump advisor, Jason Miller, tells Axios that ads including who's better and carefully, which praises Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic, test off the charts, is what he says, with the demographic. Dr. Anthony Fauci, however, says the latter has been taken out of his words, out of context. Dr. Fauci is not agreeing with this at all. I got to tell you something. I don't know about you, but I think Dr. Fauci is definitely not that supportive of Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump has done some things and said some things that Fauci totally disagrees with. But yet, President Trump also says he confers with his scientists and doctors and so on and so forth. So I don't know. And now they're looking, and you all know that if Biden gets in, he's going to talk to his scientists, which is one of them is a CNN analyst, one of his doctors that he would put on the COVID-19 staff. Let me tell you something. He says if they want to lock down the country, he would lock down the country, the entire country. Where is that going to put us? Not only financially, where is that going to? That's just going to destroy the whole country. Then your government takes over, people. Joanne Olson says Fauci is a fraud. You know something? I thought at one time Fauci might be okay, but the more and more I looked, Joanne, the more and more I heard him, the more and more I watched him, the more and more I realized I think Dr. Fauci is undermining what Donald Trump is doing about opening up the country. That's just my belief that he is trying very hard to make this country be locked down. And, like, they don't want you to open schools. They don't want you to open stores. They want, the moms and pops are done. You don't have any moms and pop stores anymore. They can't even stay in business. You've got big companies like J.C. Penney's or Macy's or whatever that are closing their doors. Now, that's been coming. We know that. But that's just an example. You've got Amazon now. You've got Walmart. They're doing online business more than anything. And is this what we're going to become? Is a country that's going to live with a mask for the rest of our life? Now, keeping clean is one thing. I mean, washing your hands with sanitizer and so on and so forth, that's one thing. But going on about locking our country, I'm sorry, I can't see it. We need something different. We need to have a rational way. I looked on TV today. I did see this, where the COVID-19 resurgence has got everybody in a panic now again. That maybe you shouldn't have Halloween. Okay, well, don't have Halloween for those people that do that. But Thanksgiving is coming up. Nobody gets together for Thanksgiving. Do it virtually. That's what I heard today on the news. That's what doctors want. And Christmas, you may have to sacrifice that too. Don't get together with your family. By all means, don't get together with your family. Just get on the little screen there. And you have and if you live alone, order something at the Chinese place and bring it home and eat it with your family as they're having, maybe another family's got some children with them and what have you. They can then go and everybody watch each other eat on the computer. I'm sorry. It just upsets me that this is what they're leading to. And what's going to happen? New Year's Eve, the same thing. You can't go out. Don't go out. Nope. Don't go out. Because the surge of COVID, as they call it, is rising. More cases of the coronavirus. When we all know the CDC says those numbers aren't accurate, when we all know that the World Health Organization keeps giving us a different story, I'm telling you right now, people, it's getting to a point where it is absolutely a government-controlled media. We are a government-controlled media. And I'm telling you, this is serious. I want you to, I know that this has not been the best show that I have done. You people are great because you always give such great, wonderful comments. And I try to get to you individually and message you and tell you about that. But I want to tell you something. I hope that you will share this video because this is a serious time. We've got an election coming up. We got a debate coming up in the next, Thursday? So I won't be doing another show until after that debate, which will be next Sunday. And we'll probably be discussing the debate and the upcoming election because we're that close. We're getting so close that we've got to do something. And this is look. I'm not asking you to share this for me. I'm asking that to share it so that people can see your comments and people can understand. I had I had some people that did a great job of sharing the last show that we did, and that was a hot, good show. You people really did some wonderful, like tonight, wonderful, fantastic comments. You are the one that make this show. I'm just the commentator, which reminds me, the commentator that's going to be doing the debate, Kirsten Welker. If you don't know who she is, I'll tell you. She used to work for NBC. She now works for the Associated Press, or she was working for the Associated Press. She may have changed. And she is a Democrat. She is a registered Democrat, and her parents have been invited. They have been at the White House when Obama was in office. So obviously she is tied in. So it's gonna. I'm wondering what kind of softball questions she'll be throwing, and whether or not Donald Trump can take control of that debate, because he's going to need to, I'm afraid, because so far, NBC's commentator really made a joke of herself. And I was very proud of Donald Trump, the way he would interrupt her. He needed to, because he was debating her, and he admitted that. He even told her, "Looks like I'm debating you." So I applaud him for that. I'm going to go on and read these, because we're getting to the point where it's almost time that we need to let you kids go. Anyway, I have to call you kids because you're kind of like my family. Anyway, Deborah says Fauci changes his mind in the direction of the wind. That's true. The man is also has too many ties from many political operatives. He is well shared. I think that's what that's wait a minute. No, he is. I got to try to get that last word in there. I don't want to miss it, because we got to the political operatives. His well. Well, I'm gonna say he's well startled. I'm not sure what that last word is, Deborah, and I apologize, because I can't. It's faded right into the screen. Dora says Fauci is probably working for the Democrats. Well, I don't know. I can't answer that, but I can tell you right now, it sure doesn't look. Whoops, what happened here? I think. Let me see what's going on. Well, I guess I don't know if you can hear my voice, but let's see. Somehow or something happened to my camera. There, I'm back on. Are you still there? Did you lose me, or did I leave you? I don't know what happened. Anyway, Joanne says, okay, I read what, okay, Joanne said, Fauci and Bill Gates are close friends. They're always, money is involved. You're right about that. Let's see. Medications and immunizations. Lots of people, and tell you about Fauci's during the AIDS pandemic, yes, or epidemic. You're right. Family and friends because of him. You know something you brought up something that people aren't talking about is Fauci's involvement during that AIDS situation. That's something that people just like they forget. They're just not forgetting. I mean, they're not remembering. They're just like, what the heck? All right, now, Deborah says we're going to end up with a very sick country. People wear their masks and have and without cleaning them, that's a serious situation just in itself. The cloth mask resurgence of bacteria and that bacteria masking people is making people sick. Your husband, it says, my husband's doctor told him not to wear a mask. I've heard that from so many people, that the doctors that they go to tell them, don't wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. The mask, they said, is supposed to help mainly for people who feel sick, not to give it to somebody else. So, I guess I don't know. I don't know for sure which way to go, because we've been told so many things. We've been told so many things. Don't wear a mask. Wear a mask. Masks help. Masks don't help. Masks won't keep you from getting the virus. Masks will help you from getting the virus. Look, this is a planned pandemic, in my opinion, that was started by China. Now, people have said, no, it's not China, it's the United States or whatever. Well, guess what? I'm not buying into that. Maybe the United States might have been involved, but I'm going to tell you right now, my opinion is very simple. I think China let it get out of hand. And the rest of the world needs to get on China besides the United States. Donald Trump has made it very clear that he's very upset with China. Anyway, Deborah, you make a good point. When your own doctor says that not to wear a mask to your husband, that's quite a statement. Dora says, don't forget to wear your mask between between bites. I'm sorry, Doris, I had to laugh at that, but that's funny because where is it, California, where they tell you have to wear a mask even when you're in a restaurant eating? What are you supposed to do? Lift up the mask and eat it and chew and whatever and slobber all over it? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I got a little gross there, but that makes, I guess that makes it bad. Keith Kuhn says, yes, live, I guess, or you're live. Okay, I thought, because everything on my screen went off. And I had to figure out what the heck went wrong. And I didn't know if my camera went off at the same time and you couldn't see me. So that's why thank you, Keith, for that. I appreciate that. Doris says, I can still hear you and see you. Okay. Well, I'm back. I know I know my camera's back on because I can see myself too, and I can see your comments. But anyway, Doris says, we need to get back to living. Yes, that's the bottom line. That we need to get back to a life, and that's what Donald Trump wants. And if you want that to happen, I would say, people, I guess I'm telling you how I'm voting, because I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to live in a socialist country. I do not want to live in a socialist country. And if the Democrats are elected, and if they take over the Senate, we will be living in a socialist country. You can take that to the bank, if there's any banks going to be left open. And if you have any 401ks, or if you got any kind of retirement, if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris get elected and the Senate takes over, you better take your money and stash it something, get it out of the bank, get it out of the IRA, get it out of your 401ks, whatever the case might be. And you better take your money out of your investments, because you're going to lose them. You are going to lose them. The government will end up taking them. So you think about this. Watch the debate this coming Thursday. Sunday, let's do a discussion about the debate. We won't have a long show. That way, you've been wonderful to stick with me. Those of you that have stayed with me, I appreciate it. Those that have come and gone, I appreciate it. I understand why people don't stick around, because it might not be the topic they want to hear about, or they want it's not interesting to them, and that's just normal. But you guys, I will do everything I can to thank you personally by sending you a message, because I feel that shows me that you are my friend and I can communicate with you. And so I hope that you don't mind if I do message you. If I happen not to message you, I'm telling you right now, and I will put it on my post when I post the video for it to be shared to people who can watch it again, or watch it for those that didn't get to watch it. I'm going to mention the fact that all my people that have commented, I will always say that you are great. You're so faithful. You're so great about your comments. You're great about supporting the show. It's not always the best shows. I know that. I don't try to be a TV commentator. I just try to bring up important issues. And I got to tell you right now, we're in an important time in history. We're in an important time in our country. This election is the most important election that you will ever have in your country and my country. And let's pray that after January 20th, for sure, if there is a close race, or let's hope that after November 3rd, that we will still have our country, and it will be a country that is a free country and not a country that's going to be socialist and then going into communism, because Khrushchev said that he would take us over without firing a shot. And the way it looks, it's working because the Communist Party has already infiltrated the Democrats through the Working People's Party and through AOC and her group and so on and so forth. All right. Anyway, please share this video with your friends. I want to thank Doris and Deborah, and I want to thank, I want to thank Joanne, and I want to thank Keith and Douglas, and I want to thank Lori, and I hope I didn't miss anybody. But I want to thank all of you for being part of the show. Your comments have been are fantastic as always. And let's talk about let me see, Dean, goodness gracious, Joe Biden will win the election. That I don't know. I got to be honest with you. If he does, then be prepared that if the Senate wins, the Democrats win the Senate, be prepared to live in a socialist country, Dean. And if you want to live in a socialist country, I'm going to end it like this, tonight's show. You're predicting it. Okay. Well, and you may be right, Dean. I'm hoping for our country's sake that you're not right. I'm hoping for our country's sake that Donald Trump is the winner. And I'm going to tell you very simply, I said this on the last show, and some of you will remember this, so I don't mean to repeat it, but I'm going to. If we're such a bad country, why are people leaving socialist countries to come to a country like America, which is now free? They will be leaving if we become a socialist country, which we will if the Democrats take over the Senate and the presidency and the vice presidency. We will become a socialist country. Overnight, possibly not, but within a very short period, because Joe Biden will be replaced by Kamala Harris as president. I know that sounds like I'm predicting something or that I'm prophesying something. I'm not. I'm telling you as I see it. Joe Biden was put in that position because of his name over Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders is a admitted socialist, and the Democrats knew they could not run an admitted socialist as a presidential candidate. That's the way I see it. And if why are people fleeing socialist countries if they're so great? So let's watch the debate next week. Doris has already said that she's predicting Trump's going to win. Well, let's hope, if we want a free country, that's working. And because I certainly hope that he's not just faking us for the last 4 years or 3 years, whatever it is. And I really don't think he is. I think he really truly loves this country. He wants to put God back in this country. He wants to give you your freedom of speech. He wants to open this country back up. He wants jobs back in here. He wants you to have your income back. He's even told them he'll sign the checks for just people that need the money. So, I mean, I guess I have made it very clear what my choice is. That's my choice. And I pray that you will stay strong. Vote. If you're voting early, make sure your vote counts. If you're voting as an absentee ballot, with an absentee ballot, I would take it and drop it in the box to be sure. There's been so many that have been lost in the mail, or so many of them that have not been done right, that it's a sad situation. I want to say this to you real quick. Again, watch the debate, and let's do a show next Sunday. We won't make it a long show. Let's do it about the debate, and let's see how we think it's going to what the outcome of the debate is. Let's discuss the debate. We know that Trump is not going to get a fair shake, but he's going to make his own fair shake. He's going to stand up against Biden the way he did against Hillary, and he only needs to win. He only needs to win. He needs Florida, and he needs a Hispanic, and he needs the black vote, of course, and he's getting it. Well, let's discuss this next Sunday at 9:00. If you can, I'll remind everybody again, as I normally do. I'll try to send you a private message. In the meantime, please be safe, be careful, be healthy. God bless all of you. God bless America. And thank you for taking part in tonight's show. If I don't tell you personally when I message you, you'll know I mean it because I'm selling it on the video, and I will, when I post it, I will also comment on how great all of you are. Thank you, everybody. Good night. God willing, we'll see you next week. God bless you. God bless America.